Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and I'm so glad to be back after, it's been a while. I think the last time I streamed was the 19th of July. So, if you don't know, I had surgery on my wrist, and I will spare you the sight of my scars from my surgery. I just got my stitches out this morning, and so it's been a little rough trying to type. My wrist is finally getting to the point where it's strong enough that I can type for a while. So doctor said probably like 6 weeks before it actually starts to feel better than it did before the surgery, and probably won't be like really feeling back to normal for about 3 months. So I'm just gonna take it easy, not lift heavy weights or anything like that, but you know, typing should be okay. I was able to do some work from home, so I'm going to catch you up on what I've done, and then we'll get to it, and we'll start working on this search component that we worked on a while ago, and then we just kind of left it there because we needed some work with the data before we could really finish it. So we finally got that work done. Now we're going to go back and finish it. So hey everyone. See a lot of people saying hi. Julia, so glad that you could make it to a stream. So that's awesome. Phoenix, hey, I guess I'm just gonna say hi to everybody. So, all right, cool. So for those of you who are new, this is how it goes. After I do a little explanation of what's been done since the last stream, we're gonna do a 25-minute Pomodoro session of coding. And then I'll take a 5-minute break and answer all your questions. We'll do another 25-minute Pomodoro session of coding. And then after that, we'll just do a question and answer session where I'll answer all your questions until there are no more. So if you do have a question and it seems like I'm ignoring you, I am, but just for 25 minutes, and then I'll answer you. Okay, so let me think what I've done. Alright, so here's some stuff that may be important for you to know if you are actively working on this project locally. I upgraded a lot of things, a lot of packages. So I've upgraded Next, I've upgraded React, I've upgraded Material UI. So you definitely need to run yarn or npm install if you're going to pull this down, if you've already had it. Because a lot of things have changed. I've been working mainly with, I guess, the menus, right? So the side menu, if you notice, has all new navigation, and almost all of the links work now. There's some that I just don't have content for yet, but that's pretty much sorted out now. That took a while. I've also moved. I've gotten a little bit more organized. I went back to using the Trello board. So let me know if anybody's interested in having a link to the Trello board to see where we're at and what still needs done in the project. I can definitely share that. I took care of some of the issues on GitHub, and I also added a few more issues. So if you're interested in helping out or contributing, check out the issues there. There may be some new ones that you may be interested in helping with. Okay. That's an okay summary. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of things, but of course you can all check out the commit log on GitHub if you really want to know, specifically what's changed. Let me get my face off the screen here and look at some code. All right, I'm going to start my Pomodoro timer, and I'm also going to start. What do we have here? ngrok. Let me make sure I have this. Yeah, I have the dev server running. Let's start ngrok. I'm about to paste this link in the live chat. If you click on this link or copy and paste it in your browser, you will be able to see the website, and it will update as I'm changing it locally. So you'll be able to click around, go to any page that you want, inspect it with your own dev tools. It kind of makes it a little bit more interactive than just me coding and you watching. Okay, so let's go to this search page. I haven't been able to do any coding yet this morning. I've been doing mostly paperwork since I had, this is the first day back in the office since the 19th. So I'm late on some of my paperwork. Let's see. Okay, so here's the search page. Let me make this a bit bigger. Also, not sure if any of you are from or around Salt Lake City, Utah, but I'm going to be there for React Rally. Is it next week? Can't be next week. I think it is, though. Alright, so I think next week I'm going to leave. I think the 13th my flight goes out. So I'll be in Salt Lake City for a couple days. So let me know if you're there, if you're in the area, if you want to hang out or something. And then I'll be in New York right after that. So if anybody is, I'll be staying in Brooklyn for a couple of days. So let me know if anybody's in that area and wants to hang out. You know, we try to get together, have some coffee, do some coding or whatever. Okay. I don't need this right now, so let's kind of move that over and make some room. Let me know if this font needs to be even bigger. Okay, so here's what's going on in this component. So you can see we've already done quite a lot with this. Just to break it down, we're using the WordPress API to get data from WordPress, which we're using as our content management system. And this search page, let me show you the front end, how this looks. So I don't have a link to it, so you need to manually type in search. So at the end of that ngrok link that I typed in, if you do /search, you'll come to the search page. All right, and this is just a live search. So so as you type, it will pop up with the results. It should. It's actually going quite slow, so I may have to think about some way to fix that. I think because we've added so many different post types. But if you remember how it was before, now there's a lot more information, different post types that are now showing up in the search. And then we have this sorting, but we also have these filters. And these are the ones that we put in a while ago. So you can see we can filter and just get, you know, what we want here. So we need to add a lot more filters now that we have a lot more content types, right? So that's what we're going to do. I want to try to accomplish that now. There's still a few other things I'd like to do with this page, but the primary thing now are getting these filters in there. Okay, so here's what's happened so far. Let's see. We have is event false. I've added in some things into state, our initial state, under these checkboxes. But then I thought, sorry about that. I've been trying to hold back a yawn for a couple minutes now. My sleep schedule's been all messed up since I've been off, so I didn't get that much sleep last night. So what I was thinking is, instead of manually entering a lot of these different types in here, you know, maybe we could do something programmatically. So down at the bottom of this component, we can see all the different post types that we have now. So I don't think we need to filter by all of these post types. Some of them are things that it's not really likely that somebody would even filter by that. But a lot of these will become filters. Okay. So I think I have the checkboxes in the state to create the form controller label components. So I think what we're going to do is, actually, let's look at this. Are these the only ones I want to have now? Let's try it out on here. So we already have department, major, and faculty that are checkboxes. But what I'd like to do is, instead of just having these, let's say manually put in, which I'll scroll down in a second to show you what I mean by that, I'd like to just map over these and create the checkbox elements out of that. So let's scroll down and find that. I really want to refactor this. It's too big. It's not necessary right now. Just need to get it to work first, and then we can refactor. Alright, where's our... Alright, here's our filters. So you can see we have these form control labels. So right now I have 3 form control labels here, so it's hard coded. But I think what we could do, what makes a lot more sense, is just map over the checkbox labels, that the names that we have in state, and then we'll have them all in there. Later on, if we want to add more, it will make it easier. It'll cut down on the overall size of this component. So that's the plan for now. Okay. I just happened to glance over and at the live chat, and No Beer says, "Long time. Do you remember?" Yeah, for sure. I remember. So how's it going, No Beer? Thanks for joining us. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to say this state, oops, let's go into JavaScript land first. If you're in React and you put these little curly braces here, then you can write JavaScript inside of those curly braces. So we're going to do map, oops, this state checkboxes dot map. Okay, so map is going to kind of like a loop, right? It's going to loop over everything and let us do stuff inside of there. So we get to, when we use a map, the first word that we're going to put, the first string or variable, let's say, that we're going to put in here is basically anything we want it to be, but that's going to be the name for each item, okay, that it maps over. So in this case, you know what, I think I'll just put item. I was thinking about putting checkbox, but that's kind of long. I like item better here. And we're going to use an arrow function, okay? And that arrow function, when we use that, it's going to automatically return whatever's in there. So you don't need to actually write the word return and have it go in there. Okay, so now we have the form control label, and we need to use this item to get what we need. So state, so we want to keep that this state, but it's going to be, actually, let's see how we do this. Key value pairs. We know we may have to, this may be a little bit more tricky than I thought. Let me see. Yeah, we're going to need to do it like this. Yeah, so let's just copy this for now. So I'll explain this in a second. I'm glad I caught that earlier. Okay, so here's what we really need to do. So we need to do object entries, this state checkboxes, and we're going to map over them here. Okay, and then we're going to get the key and the value. Okay, that's going to allow us to, so the first way, I believe what was going to happen is we were just going to get a bunch of falses as our initial values. We weren't going to get the actual name that we wanted for the checkboxes. In this case, we're going to get the name. So the key is going to be the name. So let's get rid of this stuff. Okay. Alright, so we have our form controller. Let me hit save so we get, what is it telling me? key prop. Oh, it's mad because I don't have a key. All right, let's give it a key. So our key in this case is just going to be key, right? Okay, and then, all right, and these are just indentation things, right? Yeah. All right, now we could say for checked, so we need to check to see if this checkbox is supposed to be checked, and these are, I can't believe it just slipped my mind, controlled components, I believe that's called. Let me know if you know what I'm trying to say and I'm saying it wrong, but I believe it's controlled components. Basically, what the value of this checkbox is determined by the state. So when you click the checkbox, it doesn't immediately cause a check. What it does is it changes state, and then a state change triggers a re-render of the React component, and when that re-render happens, this checkbox, this value for checked, it goes to state to see whether it should be checked or not, whether it should be true or false. Okay, then that's when the checkbox will actually get checked or not. So from a user's perspective, nothing changes, but in the background, it definitely is a different flow. All right, so I'm wondering if, now let's keep it like this. So I think this will work. I'm not entirely sure, but let's try it. Key, whoops. All right, we'll see if that works. And then on change, this handle change, and we need to pass it the name here. So we're going to say key, and for value, we're also going to say key. And then for our label, we're going to say key. And we'll use CSS to make that capitalized. For now, it's just going to be all lowercase, just like it is in state. Okay, now we can remove these two form control labels and form group. Oops, I think I deleted a form group. Yep, I did. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Seems like I went through kind of fast, and there is quite a bit to this component if you've never seen it before. So just let me know, and I can definitely go back over it a little bit more slowly. And let's see, trailing spaces. Alright, for whatever reason, my auto formatting indentation is not fixing this. So those red lines are just for indentation. So, hey, cool, look at that. So our checkboxes are there now for our filters. Let's see if it actually does anything, though. So first of all, I'm just going to check for an error when we use the checkboxes. Cool. So let's check our console. Key prop. It's warning me about a key prop here. Let me remove this first. Let's refresh. Those may have been old warnings. Alright, cool. So we don't really have those warnings. Those are old, so we have fixed that. There we are. Okay, so it seems like this is going a little bit slow. Okay. Alright, but that part works. So that's cool. That was actually the most complicated part of what I wanted to do today. Let me check my time. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. Let's clean this up then with a little bit of CSS. And we just need to have this capitalized, so we could test it out right now. It should be, what is it, text, oops, text transform capitalized. There we go. Yep, that's it. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and put a text transform capitalized on these, and we can do it right here on the well, actually, let's see if we could do it on here. These components are material UI components. I'm assuming that it'll just pass that style prop on down, but I'm not exactly sure. And the reason I'm going to do this inline is because it's only one thing we're adding on there. Usually I don't like to put a like make a whole nother class for one thing in React. It's actually, I mean, it's arguable here, but it's somewhat easier to read if you see the whole component here with the inline style, and you can do it. But if it starts to get to be 2, 3, 4 inline styles, it's way too much. It clutters things up, and in that case we would end up putting it down here with the rest of our styles. See, so we can add, you know, a lot of them, and it's not really a huge deal in terms of clutter. Okay, so in this case we'll do text transform, and we'll say capitalize. Alright, I'm assuming I spelled that right. We'll find out in a second. Yay, alright. Cool. Department, major, faculty, using it. Awesome. Alright, so this is basically our search page right now. I'm not like 100% thrilled with the way this looks. It looks super plain. So any ideas you all have to make this page look a little bit nicer, I'm definitely open for that. I do want to talk, I guess, for a second about why this is so slow, and see if any of you all have any ideas for how we can make this faster. So it was way faster originally, and here's what I think happened. So let's go up to our search string. So we're adding onto the end of this string like all these different post types, right? So we actually have to say, I want to search each individual post type. Like, we can't just do a search for all of them at once. The API doesn't allow that. So this is how I had to do it. So what that ends up creating, hopefully this will show network. Choose the, that should be an easy one. Trying to get this, there we go, one post type, faculty. No, I don't want that right now. Alright, let me refresh so we get rid of a lot of this. There we go. Alright, look how long this is. I'm going to copy this. There we go. Alright, let me copy this and just throw it in here in wow, why do I have so much stuff? Alright, so look at this. Look how long this is. Look at how many different post types it has to go through. And I'm talking about on the WordPress side of things with the API, it has to go through all of this. So I think that's what's slowing it down. So if anybody knows about PHP, databases, WordPress, and has any ideas of how we can make this faster, let me know. Let me share with you one idea that I have. So from what I've heard, okay, from other people that do kind of really advanced things with WordPress, the folder structure in the WordPress database, it's a MySQL database, so sorry, I don't mean the table structure, is not as efficient as it could be. So potentially what's possible, and I know people have done this, is to change the structure to make it work more efficiently. I really would not like to get into doing that, but that's maybe one possible solution. To to basically customize the database for this type of thing, for search, right? I don't know. Let me know if anybody's ever even heard of that being done, or what you think. I know there is a plugin that was shared with me. I'm trying to think who did that. Christian may have shared it. I don't know if he's here right now on the stream, but I believe he shared it on one of the issues in the GitHub repo, I think. So I'll have to go back through and find it. So we may be able to use a WordPress plugin to do this and not have to like manually manipulate the database. So the speed is just, it's a problem. It should definitely not be that slow. All right, let me check my time. Got like 5 minutes. All right, so in about 5 minutes, I'm going to go to the live chat and answer all your questions. So hang in there if you have questions. Oh, wait a second. Rohan says cache the output of the WordPress API and save it server side. Okay. Actually, I kind of like that idea. All right, let's think about that idea. Also, I just saw Jeff said there's a GraphQL plugin. We are using the GraphQL plugin, but unfortunately, the GraphQL plugin does not support search like this. So that's why we had to use the API. So basically, for the rest of this app, we are using GraphQL. And then for the search, we're using the WordPress API. We may have to use it in some other places too, which we'll probably get into that in a different stream. All right. Let's clean this up just a bit while we're waiting for the timer to go off here. I mean, we could potentially try to save a little bit of time with this debounce. I mean, if we drop this debounce down to 300 milliseconds, it could save us some time. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think that's the problem, though. It's not the debounce that's the problem. Let's make that a little bigger. Oops. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, it's still not. Did that even change it? Okay, that was a little bit better. You know what we also probably should do is put in a loading indicator. I mean, it will at least indicate to the user that something's happening. So let's check that out. Do we have loading somewhere else? We do. Where else are we using loading? I think on some of the pages. So the timer's going off right now. When we come back, what we'll probably end up doing is adding in some sort of loading indicator. Because regardless of whether we get the speed thing fixed, it's still a good idea. Alright, let's do 5-minute break. So I'm not sure what kind of music y'all are into, but there's a really good 80s playlist I've been listening to on Spotify. It's called All Out 80s. So if you enjoyed the 80s, check that out right now. That's what I'm listening to right now. Okay, I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top and work my way down, get through as much as I can in these 5 minutes. Probably won't get to everything because there's a lot, but just hang in there, and then after the next Pomodoro session, I'll go through everything. Yeah, so... Alright, yes, some people asking if I'm okay. So yeah, my wrist is okay. The surgery was successful. It's just going to take me a while to get fully recovered. So for now, it actually feels worse than it did before the surgery. But I'm hoping it'll get better. The thing that kind of stinks is, like, I was finally, like, getting back into exercise and lifting, and now I won't be able to lift anything heavy. So I won't be getting swole anytime soon. Okay, Anax says, can someone point me to the best way to learn Python, please? Okay, I personally don't know Python. I've used it a little bit. I know the Udacity Intro to Computer Science course does use Python, so that might be a decent way to get into Python, because you would learn Python at the same time that you would learn computer science principles. So I would check that out if you like the Udacity style of course. You can do it for free. So that's the only resource that I know that I've used and learned a bit of Python from. Brotherman Brit says, what programming language do I learn to start off? Okay, well, I personally would recommend JavaScript. I really like JavaScript. I think it's useful for so many different things, because you can pretty much make anything with JavaScript. There are not a lot of other programming languages where you could easily do that. So I would recommend JavaScript. Even to get started with it, you can run it in your DevTools console, so you don't even need anything special. You don't need to load anything on your machine. So that's what I'd recommend. But if you have something you really want to do and another language is better suited to that, then maybe try that out. Okay, so if you're really into, I don't know, let's say machine learning, Python seems to be where it's at right now with machine learning, so maybe you want to learn Python first. So there's not really going to be a one-size-fits-all answer to that question, but I can at least give you what my answer would be for, you know, what I think is good. But it may not work for you, though. Let's see. Yash says, how to design a suggestion box and data list. I don't really know how to answer that. If you want to, you can DM me on Twitter or something, Yash, and we could talk more like specifically about your particular case there. Brown says, I'm working on the HTML cat photos. I'm new to coding, need some help. Okay, so I'm assuming that's the freeCodeCamp cat photos thing. So again, Browns, if you want, you can DM me, and I'll try to help out. Full Stop says, hi from Nepal. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Blake says, glad you're back. I'm happy to be back. I missed you all. Anna says, love to contribute if I can. Oh, awesome. Anna, if you want more details on like what I need, feel free to check out the issues on GitHub. Leave comments there to get more details if you want. You can DM me. Like, definitely happy to, if you would like to contribute, I'm happy to help with that. Nimisha says, hi from India. I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but how's it going there in India? Thanks for watching. Robert says, can you teach us Matlab program, please? I don't know anything about Matlab, so I'm not going to be the person that you want to teach you that. If anybody in the chat now or even watching later, you could put in the comments if you're into Matlab and interested in helping out with that, or if you know of any good tutorials, please let us know. Rashid says, hi Jesse from Indonesia. Hey, how's it going? What time is it in Indonesia right now? I'm not sure what time zone that is, but it's got to be late, right? I mean, yeah, it's got to be close to midnight over there, I think. Yeah, right? Anyway, okay, didn't get through everything, but I got pretty far. I'm gonna write down where I left off at because there's a lot going on in the chat today, and I want to be able to get back to my place here. 11:07. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get back to the chat. I know I didn't get through everything, so just hang in there for a little bit longer. If for some reason you can't stick around to hear my answer, I'll still answer your question. You can always watch the recording of this video later on. Okay. All right, one more Pomodoro session. Let's try to get a little loading indicator. And to speed this up, I'm going to check out another page where we are already using a loading indicator, and try to maybe take that code and see if we can use it, maybe modify a little bit. That'll be a good start. So do we have it on it? Not on index, page.js. There we go. Oh, I see what we're doing. Okay, so we're using GraphQL in this case, and it says if the result is loading. Sorry about all these yawns. Then we just do the loading indicator. Okay. Okay. I don't know that we're going to be able to just take this, so it's not a big deal though. Let's do our own thing. Okay, so here's what we need to do. Okay, so we have this fetch search term. So what if we did, we could put something in state. All right, let's add into state loading, and this would just be true or false for loading. So we'll set it to false by default. Okay, and what we can do here then is say let me see if there's somewhere better to put this. I don't think there is, but I think it's worth a shot. Okay. All right, so the first thing we'll do here when we go to fetch a search term, we'll go this set state, and it'll say loading true. Okay, so right away, as soon as it starts the search, we'll set loading to true, and then search term get JSON. Then here let's see if we can, this set state data, and then we'll do loading false. I think I can do that. We'll see. It's not worth looking it up at this point. I think it's worth just saving it and seeing what happens. Actually, let's put in something down here that'll actually show up so that we can get a nice visual. So layout container, I want it to go below Alright, so this is what it'll be. Here it'll say loading, whoops, this state loading. So this state loading, and let's just put, we'll just do just like we did in the other thing, loading. Okay. Alright, so what this will do is check for this state loading, if this state loading is true, then it'll go to and it'll check what's here, and in that case it'll actually render this. But if this state loading is false, it'll just stop there and it won't even check the and, because this statement will have failed immediately, right? We'll see if it works. Okay, so no immediate. I want to see the console here. Let's clear that console out and we'll try to search. Nice. Okay, let's see if we get the same thing here. Okay, cool. So we do have that loading that pops up and it stays here. I mean, that does look a little bit weird. But I think that, I mean, that's not bad. I don't know what's up with me today. So far, everything I've tried has worked. This is amazing. This never happens. Okay. Alright, well that works for now. It would be kind of cool to have a nicer looking loader. So let's check out Material UI just to see if they have a loader. I don't think they do. The last time I checked they didn't, but maybe they've got something with an update. So, or loading indicate. Ooh, what is this? Oh, progress bar. Nice. That's cool. They have them now. All right, what do you think? I kind of really like these circular things, but let's check out some of the other things just to be sure. The linear indicators are kind of cool. Alright, let me know what you think. I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds to let me know whether you want the circle loader or the linear progress, I should say progress bar, right? Progress indicators. So let me know, circular or linear. I'm going to look at the code for it while I'm waiting. I'm going to estimate 30 seconds, so I'm not really going to count to 30. Alright, I'm starting to get some. Oh, okay, wow. Linear. It says circular's too common, do the linear. Michael says circular. If the linear is off, it will cause frustration. I thought that too, but we could do the indeterminate linear so that they won't. So the linear determinant would indicate that, like, we're actually going to get results when it hits the end, and I don't want to mess with that. I mean, that would kind of be cool, but I don't want to mess with that. But we could do this indeterminate, so it's just saying, like, hey, something's going to happen. We're not telling you when, though. Alright, so it seems overwhelming that we're going to go linear indeterminate, so that's cool. I was surprised by that. I was leaning more towards the circle, but let's go with the linear indeterminate. So we've never used one of these before in any of the projects, so this will be cool. So first of all, let's grab this and import this linear. Let me make this bigger, a little bit bigger. So we're going to import linear progress. Let's go all the way up here. There's so many imports on this page. Man, I can't wait till we can refactor that. Where am I at? There we go. Okay. Now, we don't even... Oh, cool. We don't even need to add any of the styles. We we can just grab this linear progress, and that's nice. This is super simple. Wow, this is even easier than the circular. So we're going to replace this H1 loading with our linear progress, save that, and see how it looks. Nice. Oh, I like that. I like that. What do y'all think? Wow, that, I really like that. That's cool. Honestly, that, I don't know if how it felt to you, but to me it felt like the load times were actually faster. I don't think they were faster. It wouldn't make any sense. We didn't do anything. But just that indication seemed like it went faster to me. So that's really cool. Oops, I did not mean to click on that. But let's see if this page actually works. This would be good. And it did not. That work? Students. Alright, so evidently our news page doesn't work. Yeah, nothing. You know what? I had somebody working on this. I thought they got through all of them, but maybe they didn't. But I'm not getting an error or anything. Alright, let's see how much time I have. Ooh, 13 minutes. Okay, cool. Actually, this is a good opportunity to show you a little bit of how the WordPress side looks on this. So, let me, there we go. Let me go in here, make this a bit bigger. So here's the WordPress. You can see we have a ton of custom post types happening here. If you want to see how we did that, check out the repository for the FUS WordPress plugin. It's in the same GitHub organization as the repository for this project is. Links in the description. Let's go into, oh yeah, news. If I can find it. I really need to alphabetize these. There we are. Things just grow sometimes, you know. You have a short list. You can find everything, and then you just keep adding little by little, and eventually, without even realizing, it's a mess, and it's hard to find anything. So what was that news thing? Accounting students. See if we can find this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this obviously has content. Let's check the slug. So what should happen is, based on that slug, it should be able to find this information. So accounting students to assist local residents with taxes. Accounting students to assist local residents with taxes. Yeah, it should work, right? News accounting students. Okay, so I don't think it's a problem with the way these were done in WordPress. This looks good. So, I mean, I know we're going kind of off the topic of what I set out for this stream, but if you don't mind, let's check out what's going on with our GraphQL queries for the news pages. So I'm going to news real quick, and let's see, we're doing, where's our query? So we're using Apollo to help us with our GraphQL stuff, and we're using page query, and then we're passing it the name. Okay, so let's go to our page query. Here's all our GraphQL queries. Page. Okay, page query. We're type. Did we not pass a type? I don't think we passed a type. You're right. Okay, we're not passing a type. That's why it didn't work. Okay. Let's figure out a place where we are passing a type. There we are. No, wait, we are. We are to the query. What am I thinking? We are passing a type. Oh no, that's the page. Let's go back to news. No, we definitely are. My fault. I don't know why I didn't see that. Okay, so we're passing a type to the page query. We're passing the ID. Let me check this data out for a second. We got too much stuff going on. I wonder if any of this is messing it up. I did have an issue at some point where, depending on if one of these were found, it would just basically not do anything. It would freeze up. Let's check our stuff in here. Stay there. No. Accounting students, just local residents. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely the right stuff. Let me try to make this bigger for you all. So we can directly look at what our state and props are at any given point here with our React Dev tools. So that's what we're doing right now, just to get an idea of where the problem lies. Like if we're getting the data back and it is stored in props, then we know that the issue is kind of like after that point. So this will help narrow it down for us. Okay, there's our ID. Okay, cool. Here's our query where name equals accounting students. Edges. ID, type ID. So let's see. Did we get? Alright, cool. So we have this content. So we have it. Alright. We have the content, we have the title. Okay. Alright, so actually I want to take this title out. We don't need that in here. I want to leave this. Let's double check. Okay, we're putting the content in there. So our content data, saved edges, node, content. Alright, so we've got the data. The problem, I guess, is somewhere in here. I'm going to check the live chat in case you all are seeing something that I am not. I just see we had a comment from Huhipvo. I'm probably messed your name up. I'm really sorry. Let me know how to pronounce it and I'll say it right the next time. But anyway, the comment says, I like you. So it just caught my eye there. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the comment. All right, let's try to do, instead of content, let's maybe directly do let's try this. Let's go with div, and let's see what we're getting. And I want to just say data. There we are. Okay. A little sloppy here, but okay. So we are getting this data. It's under news, edges, node, news, edges, node, title. Okay. All right. Let's make sure we're doing that right. Okay. So under data, should have news, this props type. Okay, I see what's happening. Do we need that? So if the data already, yeah, we will have to say news. What's the type though that we're getting? Let's go back to this. I want to see what the type is. Okay, the type is news, and this says news. All right, so that should work. So we should be able to get data with this props type. Let's just verify that would work. Alright, that did work. I'm just going to go down the chain here and see where we're messing up. Edges 0. Yep, that works. Edges 0. And let's just do it. Node. Node, and let's go title. There we go. Yep, that should be there. Why is the title, why does it have that? Anyway, okay. Alright, so that's working. Maybe it's because we're doing dangerously set inner HTML. Yeah, let's switch this up. That's a little weird how they're organizing that, but okay, so something's happening with this. Let's try title. Alright, that's really weird. But if we do this, so weird. Alright, so evidently something I'm doing here is what's messing this up. Probably because I'm doing it like this. I bet this works now. Yep, that works. Alright, here's the problem. Apologies if you noticed this and were trying to tell me in the chat and I didn't see it, but I have no idea why I didn't see this. I wasn't actually creating like these direct variables, right? So I had probably just copied and pasted this result, or, you know, this const data, and I left the brackets around it, right? But I wasn't trying to get like an object, right? This I wanted to be an object. I didn't want these to be objects, but that's what I was making them. So anyway, that was the problem. So I don't know. I tried to be systematic about finding that error, and that's usually a good way to go. You'll find it. In this case, if I would have just jumped in and just took a look at the code, maybe I would have saw that and changed it. I don't know. But anyway, that works now. My timer did go off, but let's commit some of this and get it up to GitHub. That way y'all can check it out. Let me... Alright, let's see. My node mon has been doing weird stuff where it just keeps refreshing all the time and it won't let me run my tests. So we'll see if it does that. We may have to just kind of manually start the server just for the test. But for now, let's do a Git Status. As soon as I push this up to GitHub, I'm going to go back to the questions, answer all your questions. Alright, cool. So these are the only two pages that we did work with, so that's good. First, let's do a git commit, and we're going to commit the search page. Oops, pages, search. I'm sorry, what am I thinking? I need to do a git add. There we are. And I'm going to do yarn cm, okay, because we have it set up to help us out making our commit messages. Otherwise, you could just do a git commit and then add your message. So let's add a new feature, and we'll say add checkboxes. Let's say filter, and what else do you, oh, loader. A loading indicator. And I don't think we had any that attached to an issue, so I'm just going to skip that. Okay, so hopefully all the tests run. I can start answering questions now while we let these tests run. If they all pass, then we'll move on and make the next commit. I'll push those up to GitHub, and then everything we've done today will be available to you all on the GitHub repo. So let me scroll back up to where I left off in the chat. Oh, cool. Those all passed. Let's add the news page now. Yeah, and we're gonna say this is definitely gonna be a fix. Fix. So this will say 6. Let's see. Display. D-I-S-P-L-A. How do you spell displays? A-Y. Displays. Yeah, that's it. Isn't it weird how just simple words sometimes, like, you know you spelled them a million times, but all of a sudden you forget? Anyway, content now displays properly. Okay. Oh man, Phil Collins is playing right now on Spotify. In the Air Tonight, it's my favorite Phil Collins song. If you see my head moving, like, that's why. Alright, cool. That's ready. We'll do a git push, and it'll all be up to GitHub. Great. Okay, so where were we? Okay, Annex says, how long of a time usually does it take the average person to learn Python? I really have no idea. I haven't learned Python myself, and really it definitely depends on like your natural ability, like how much knowledge you have coming into it, and then how much time you have to dedicate, each day to learning it. So that's going to be a question that even for yourself will be hard to answer, and you know better than anybody what your capabilities are. Monju says, how to start learn coding, or rather programming. Yeah, it kind of depends on your preference for how you learn. Let's assume you're going to start with JavaScript, okay? If you wanted to start with JavaScript, you could try out the freeCodeCamp curriculum. That'd be a great way. Just keep doing those exercises. If you prefer the video learning style, you could try out something like Udacity and do some of their free courses. They come with a lot of videos. If you wanted to just do videos, no exercises, you could certainly go on YouTube and watch Bo Carnes has a whole video series on the freeCodeCamp YouTube about learning JavaScript. You could check that out. If you like to read, you could get the Eloquent JavaScript book or the You Don't Know JS series. Those are both available for free to read online, or you can get the print copies if that's what you like. So those would be my suggestions to get started. All right, Michael says, why not programmatically build the filter list from the hits after you get the search results? Like only add the topics that show up. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about that. Yeah, that would kind of be a nice feature. I don't know that that's something that is necessary to get in before we launch, but I do like that. Yeah, I really like that. That's a good idea. Oh, by the way, the launch date, I mean, obviously the launch date keeps getting pushed back for this thing. I still need to have a meeting with some people from another department to get the okay for this to launch. That meeting had to get pushed back now, like twice. It's just hard to get all those people together, and then because of my surgery, we had to push it back. So I believe the meeting now is set for the end of August. So I'm thinking there's no way this site's going to launch until at the earliest, the very end of August, maybe beginning of September. So we'll be working on it for a little while. But I mean, that's not bad. We have more time to make it look the way we want, to optimize it, add more features. So I kind of really want to launch it. I've been wanting to launch it for a while, but just can't. I got to wait for approval. So that's where we're at in terms of launch. All right, Oshan asks, what are we doing here today? I assume, Oshan, that you figured it out at this point because you asked that quite a while ago. So I'm not going to go over it again. Okay, Oshan said it's a controlled component. All right, so when I was trying to say, I don't even remember what I said, if I said it right or not, but when we were talking about our inputs, in particular checkboxes, there was a controlled component when I was mentioning that when you click it, it doesn't actually directly change the check state of the checkbox. What it does is it changes the state in React in your component, and then the checked attribute of that checkbox is getting its value from state. And the update is triggered anytime there's a React state change. Okay. Julie asked if we got a playlist for these. Yeah, for sure. So if you check out the freeCodeCamp playlist, you'll see I have several playlists now. So there's one main playlist that has all the videos I've ever done in the Live Coding with Jesse series, and that's huge. So I don't know if that's for everybody, but this project has its own playlist, and it's Project 5. So if you check out the Project 5 playlist, it's just for this project. This is stream 90 of that playlist, so there's quite a lot here. So it'd be kind of crazy to watch everything at this point. I definitely recommend watching on like 2x speed. I think you can definitely understand me still at 2x speed. Just slow it down if there's something interesting, I guess. And maybe like skip around to some of the videos where there are topics that you're interested in. I mean, unless you really have a lot of time to kill and want to watch them all. But it's a lot of time at this point. Nogia says it's not really tutorials, it's like group work in public. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. These aren't exactly tutorials because I don't like go through systematically and try to teach something, but I hope that we all learn something though. I definitely learn stuff from you all the time. Christopher Brown says don't forget shout outs. Oh, okay. Actually, let me do that. Let's go to the GitHub repo for a second. GitHub. I know I probably have this GitHub repo open in 3 other places right now, but what? I'm not signed into GitHub? Are you serious? That's crazy. I haven't had to sign in forever, and now I have to do my authentication. Alright, let's see. GitHub. No. Don't you hate it when the phone authenticator changes right in the middle of you trying to put the code in? Okay. So what I want to do is give shout outs to those of you that actually did submit pull requests recently. So let's go here. Okay, so Christopher Brown has several pull requests. So let's see. The Greenkeeper stuff is a bot that automatically sends pull requests when packages need updated. So yeah, so Chris added these title elements to things. So this is for accessibility purposes. So thank you for that, Chris. Let's see. Faculty. Also, this Git faculty GraphQL to return appropriate response. Y'all can check out the details of these, of course, if you want. I mean, this is a public repo. DDS lint. I'm not sure what the dates. I'm getting kind of back a little bit more. So, yeah, these were older ones. I think we've already gone over. But anyway, and then just to show y'all, since I haven't done this for a while, here's all the contributors to the project. So thank you everyone who's contributed. If you're interested in contributing, just check out the issues. You know, let me know which one you're interested in. So obviously me, Niki, Harshit, Chris, our bot, SJ Blendy, Lelbo, Angel. I wish I could remember everybody's real names as opposed to their GitHub names, but Michael. So there we are. Lots of contributors so far. 12 contributors, of which only one is not really a person. So, really awesome. Thank you. Julia said, I love it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Rohan said some SVG art. I'm assuming you're talking about SGV art for the progress indicator. If that's the case, actually, I love SVG art. I just don't really know how to do it. I haven't spent time trying to do it. but to have like a custom SVG loading indicator would be super cool. Oshon says, what plugin is it on the WordPress side sending you JSON data? Actually, the REST API for WordPress is built into WordPress core now, so you don't need a plugin anymore. To get multiple posts, though, you need to get the multiple post plugin. Let's see which one that one is. Let's go to our plugins. So we have the WP REST API v2 multiple post types plugin. Okay, so that's going to allow you to put in search for multiple post types in one API request. Radha says hi. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. Moreno says, what did you have that was bad in your wrist? I had some torn, like a torn ligament that needed repaired. Asser says, what is your recommended best way to style React? Styled components, standard CSS. I use a variety of things, to be honest with you. I'm not sure which one I like best. So I'm still trying things out, you know, and I'm open to trying to find the best way. So I haven't decided yet which one I like the best. Vibehub says, say something interesting about progressive web apps. Okay. Alright, so for any of you who don't know what progressive web apps are, I guess I'll just explain really briefly. So they're usually abbreviated PWA, but a progressive web app would be like a web app that could potentially work offline. So everything that would be needed for that could be stored like in a service worker. So a service worker is a special JavaScript file that sits in the browser in between your website and your server, and it can intercept network requests. So potentially, if you had everything you need to run your app in your service worker, the request would go to the service worker, which still lives right there in the browser. The service worker would send back the response, and it would never have to leave the browser or go to the server. So if there was no internet, it could still work. So if you've ever used anything online that still works offline, it's probably done using that type of service worker. So I'm thinking things like Google Docs. You can still use Google Docs even if you don't have an internet connection in your browser, right? And we call it a progressive web app because you can't have everything there, right, depending on what your app is, without connection. So what would happen is like your base app functionality would work without a connection, and then it would progressively get more functional as you had a better and better connection. So that's what we mean by progressive web apps. So that's kind of the way to go now. So if you can build your site as a progressive web app, then you probably should. What we're building right now will work as a progressive web app. Asher says, why do people use TypeScript with GraphQL? Do you? I don't use TypeScript with GraphQL. I recently saw a video by Peggy Reyes. I can't remember what her last name is, but she works on the Apollo team, and she was talking about using TypeScript with GraphQL, and so I assume like it's something that's encouraged by like Apollo, and I'm not 100% sure what the benefits of doing it that way are. I haven't used TypeScript that much at all. I can definitely see value in it, but for the stuff that I've been doing, it just hasn't really been a big deal to try to use TypeScript. So if anybody else knows better, like what advantage there would be to using TypeScript with GraphQL, please let us know. Aster says, how did you learn GraphQL? I don't know, just reading documentation, tutorials, and things. Really, Harshit, one of the viewers that contributes a lot to projects, really wanted to use GraphQL and started using it with Apollo, and he did a lot of, in terms of pull requests, and I would look through what he was doing and try to understand what he was doing. So I learned a lot that way, just by reading his code and then editing it, like taking what he did and then applying it to a different component. And so that's I kind of really learned like hands-on, and there's still so much I don't know about it. I was just watching a tutorial on it this morning. RTG34 says, if I wanted to be a UX designer, what degree would you recommend? I don't really know for a design degree. I tell you, I'm not sure. I don't know what it would be called, and different schools would probably have different degrees available. So and that seems like a job you may not even need a degree for. So sorry I can't answer that better, but maybe it's just slipping my mind. But yeah, I don't know. Sergey Serb says, does he even read comments on YouTube? I do try to read the comments. I know I'm behind on the comments, but I try to go back when I get a chance and try to look and see who commented, and so I do apologize if I've missed a comment. Aster says, how many React projects do you recommend a junior dev have before applying? At least one, I would say, and then after that, apply, right? This is a similar question that I get is, how do you know when you're ready to apply for jobs? And I would say you're ready to have a job whenever you can convince somebody that you're ready, right? You go into that interview, if you get an interview and you convince somebody that you are ready, you can bring value to their organization, all right? You can do good work. And then if you can convince them and get the job, then you are a dev, right? There's no magic number, right? Obviously, more projects are going to seem more impressive, but that's also really kind of, it depends. Like, what kind of projects are they? What are the quality of them, the complexity? So you can't really give a number to that. T0 says, does coding and being a programmer make you socially isolated? Actually, not at all. It's been the opposite for me. Wow, so tired. I didn't have any G Fuel today. That's the problem. Let's blame it on that. Yeah, so it's been the opposite for me. I've actually, through programming, I've met people from all over the world and talked to them. And I'd never be able to do that if I had, I don't know, let's say a different kind of job where I would just, go into my normal work and I just interact with the people around me. This has kind of opened things up to just so many more people, right? Now, not everybody's going to have that, right? Like, I do the show. I'm kind of somewhat active on Twitter and Instagram with other programmers. I go to conferences. So you kind of have to put in a little bit of effort. So you can definitely do this job and be isolated, right? Let's say you're a freelancer, you don't work with anybody, and you sit at your house. Yeah, you could be isolated, but it depends on how you want to do it, right? So I think it's easier to be isolated in this job than in some other jobs, but it doesn't have to be like that. No Beer says, what if you change the structure, like all the post type tabs horizontal after the search bar, and also have all the post types search tabs? User will manually search and it will reduce website bandwidth, and I think it will be quite fast, but all the post types and the tabs, you can add loading. Yeah, Beer, that's not a bad idea. I'm going to think about that. Yeah, I'll think about that. Steven says, what's going on? I sent you a page I created using some JavaScript to navigate floor plans, models, and pop-up. Let me know what you think. Okay, cool. I'll check that out. Yeah, thanks for sending that over. Let's see. Phoenix says, today I made my first pull request on GitHub. All right. Congratulations. That's awesome. Let's see. What was the pull request? Oh, okay. I see farther down. It's a design-based pull request for the freeCodeCamp Top Contributors badge. Oh, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Oh, wait a second. Did I tell y'all about the stickers that we have now? Oh, let me show you. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen this already. But let's see if we can get this. Let me change the camera and show you this. So Phoenix has designed a sticker. So we have this live coding with Jesse sticker now. So I have like, I think 100 of them. I mean, minus a couple that are on my laptops. But I have stickers now. So I'm not sure the best way to get these stickers out to people who want them. I mean, postage for these stickers will cost, I mean, it just depends on where you're at, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, for sure, like if anybody really wants one mailed to me and you like just send me, you know, $1 or something for postage, I can send one out. I'll probably take them around with me wherever I go to conferences or meetups or anything too. So if y'all have any better ideas for what I should do with these stickers, let me know. Okay, we got a question about the font. It's Fira font, F-I-R-A. Yeah, let's see. Alien Anonymous says, I love the DMX and Phil Collins song, but the original is good too. Oh, wait, I don't think I've ever heard that one. How did I not hear about that? I'll have to check that out. Julia put my misspelling of displays, so she definitely caught me attempting to spell displays with an IES at the end. Yeah, spelling's not my strong suit. Like I definitely I check everything that I put out there before I hit send, especially on tweets, because my spelling's terrible. iCash says best language to learn for beginners. All right, so we actually had that question earlier on, so I'm not going to go through a big thing about it, but I personally recommend JavaScript. If you want to know why, watch the replay of this video and go back, I don't know, about a half hour before what I'm this point, and I answer that kind of in depth more. Omar asks where to learn React and master it. You could start out with some of the free CodeCamp stuff to learn React. Codecademy has a React course. Udacity has a paid React course that's good. So I would recommend those places if you can. And then there's React training is pretty good as well. I've done like a little bit of their coursework. I don't think I've ever gotten through an entire course. Not because it wasn't good, just because I kind of got busy and forgot about it. But those places are good. Also, the React documentation is great. So if you can check out the documentation, just read a little bit every day, that would be good too. And then work on projects. Like keep practicing and trying to do, try to expand and do more things with React, every day if you can. Rohan said, SVG is easy with Illustrator or Adobe XD. I can do some if you've got some ideas on what you need. Oh, okay. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I don't have any ideas right now, but yeah, let me think about it. Julia says, in response to where to learn React and master it, watch all of his live stream videos. Yeah, that's quite a lot. Let me think. Yeah, so Project 5 itself now has 90 videos. So, and that's Project 5, right? So we've been through a lot. This is definitely the longest project, but I mean, we've got to be approaching 200 videos now, right? And each one of those is at least an hour long, sometimes longer. So, I mean, we're talking like maybe 300 hours of content. I don't know, maybe more. That's a lot. So anyway, you definitely don't. You will not be a master in React even if you do watch all my videos. I'm not a master myself, but you may find something helpful. Oh, okay. Julia has some good advice about we had a question earlier about what degree should I get if I want to be a UX designer. Julia says, don't worry about the degree, mentor under a UX designer. That's a great idea. I've been hearing more about this idea of mentoring. I think I listened to a podcast about this recently. I can't remember which podcast it was though. And they were saying this idea of the master and apprentice in design, in programming. And I actually really like that idea. Is you have this kind of master apprentice, and then it evolves into kind of like a mentor-mentee relationship. I think that's a great way to do it. I kind of wish I've had various kind of like mentors before, but never someone like that was clearly like I was apprenticed to, and I think that would have helped me to get better faster, avoid a lot of mistakes. So I really like that idea. Chetiana says, hey, how's it going? Sorry if I messed up your name. Please let me know. Let's see. Ambition says Monday and already waiting for Friday. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been doing that much work the last couple of weeks because of my wrist thing. So I'm ready to do some work. I'm not ready for Friday yet. Julia says, for your next project, you should create a forum for coders. Actually, I don't know, Julia, I don't know if you saw anything about the JavaScript AF project. So I bought the domain name javascript.af, and as kind of a side project, we've been working on it. And one of the things that we want to have is something like a forum. So we have some features already ready. So I believe if you do go to JavaScript AF, you can see it. I'm going to go to it on my other screen here, just see if it's up. You know what? It's not working right now. I wonder if... Alright, so we don't have it up right now. Too bad Harsh is not watching. But anyway, we have a project that's like kind of like that, so we'll see. I definitely need to do an update because I haven't done an update on that project for a while. Aster says, do you understand JavaScript closures, call, apply, blind methods? I can understand closures when I need to and I read about them, but it's not like if somebody asked me an interview question right now about it, it'd probably be a mess, right? So, yeah, that's things like that. here's the way I look at a lot of programming stuff. Like, there are concepts in programming that, you know, you're not always able to just explain, right? But when you have to use them for a project, you can do them, because you'll most likely look it up, right? There's so much that you don't just wing it. You know, you look it up first. So sometimes I think like coding interviews are a bit I don't want to say unfair, but it's just not realistic to be able to just rattle off like definitions of things like that, because it's not what we do, right? We get an idea and we make it happen by looking at what's already been done, building on that and stuff. So anyway, if I were like going to go on an interview, I'd probably be studying up on all that stuff, so I would have answers, because I mean that's just the way it works with interviews. But yeah, for now, if you ask me that question, I'd look it up, and I would say, you know what, I know exactly where to find the answer, and you can find it here, and that would really be my answer. Even if I was doing an interview right now, that's what I would say. Anna says, I cloned the repository but don't know how to start it in the browser. I used to work with Create React App and npm run only. Do I need to install Webpack or something? You should be able to run, well, make sure, sorry if you've already done this. I'm trying to go over the basics, okay? So I'm not assuming that you don't know this already, but for anybody that wants to do the repo, I believe there are some instructions in the README or the contributing.md file, but in case it doesn't cover this, you know, clone the repo locally. Maybe like if you want, like, fork it first and then clone it, and then you want to run yarn or an npm install, depending on which one you use. Make sure everything gets installed, and then to start it up, you want to run npm run dev or yarn dev. That's going to get everything started, and then it should work from there. So those steps should get you started. If that's not working for you, let me know. Let's see. Endwalk says C# developer or JS developer. I'm a JavaScript developer. We have done a bit of C# on this stream before, because we were working with some legacy code, but we don't really have to work with it anymore. Julia says the mentor-mentee relationship is how I learned programming. I dropped out of university. Yeah, for sure. I really think if somebody wants to be a programmer, my take on it is you should only go to university if you have scholarships that are paying for it, or let's say like your parents are going to pay for it. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense financially, because it's unnecessary to get a job as a programmer. You'll put yourself in a lot of debt, basically for something that's not going to really give you a return, right? The amount you can make as a self-taught programmer versus the amount you can make as a programmer with a degree is not, there's not that much difference, right? There potentially could be no difference at all, right, depending on how good you get and what your connections are. So, you know, not only are you taking extra time, like 4 years or more, but you're spending all this money and you're not going to get a return. So it doesn't make sense financially, right? If we were analyzing this as like an investment opportunity, it wouldn't make any sense, right? So it only makes sense really if you're getting your education paid for by somebody, and then, you know, I'd think about going for it, but only if I didn't already have to pay for stuff. Like, you know, if I already had a family or something, I had bills to pay, like, even if they were paying for my college, I wouldn't do it, right? Because I need to be able to make money. I could learn a lot of the same stuff I'd learned in college by actually doing projects and getting paid for it and learning while I'm doing. So, anyway, and I work at a university, so, I mean, I fully understand the benefits of a university, but in this particular field, it's just not necessary. Hey, Harshit's here. Harshit, I have a question. Do we have JavaScript AF running anywhere, like the dev version of it? I just tried to go to JavaScript AF and it wasn't up and running. So Oh, okay, I see. It's down because your card expired or something, because it needs a $5 fee to be up. Where does... Alright, what account is that we're running that on? And just, if you want Harshit, if you can DM me the info or something, I'll get that up and running again. Let's see. Almost to the end of the live chat here. So if you have any questions, get them in now, because we'll probably end pretty soon here. Harshit says, by the way, I'm on holiday. Just saw your story on Instagram, and I had a look. Oh, okay. Well, enjoy your holiday, Harshit. Don't worry about JavaScript AF. I don't want you to have to do any work. Just enjoy your stuff, yeah, have a good time. Also, good to see you. Good to talk to you. I haven't talked to you for a while. Oh, okay. So I just saw your message that you saw the Yarn install Yarn dev thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know how it goes, and feel free to DM me on Twitter or Instagram or whatever too if you have questions. Renee says, sometimes depending on where you live, it may be required to have a degree. You know what? That's a really good point. That's a good point. So I'm speaking generally from the perspective of somebody living in the United States. So I don't know what the situation is in other countries. So take what I'm saying and maybe just apply it to your situation, right? So I shouldn't make blanket statements like that. Your country, it may be different. Maybe a degree would be more important to trying to get in. So here in the United States right now, the way things are going, you don't really need a degree. But like I said, if you can get a degree without going into a lot of debt, it's not a bad idea, right? You never know how things are going to be like 10 years from now, right? Things could change, right? Maybe people want a degree. Maybe you never know. You never know what could happen. So I just personally think in the United States right now, it costs so much money that it's too much. It's just too much debt. Mayank says, I'm new here. How's it going? Thanks for watching. We're kind of wrapping things up here, but feel free to catch the recording. And you ask any questions if you want. Phoenix says, do you have any ideas for a big data project? Actually I do have some ideas. I'm just not sure where to get all the data I need, but I have some ideas. So yeah, maybe we could talk about that. Alright, Phoenix says, I'm unable to decide on one. I need to make one for my final year project. I don't know if anybody has any ideas for Phoenix. Let us know. Oh, okay. Harsh is saying it's in the open source plan, but you still need $5 to keep it up. Okay, because we're using the custom URL, right? I'll do that. You know what? I canceled. I dropped this down to a lower plan, I think. Not realizing that it would totally shut it off. Astro said, if you were 18 and thinking about what you were doing with your life in terms of employment, would AI scare you? Me? No, I mean, I'm not scared of AI. I'm really hopeful for the opportunities for AI, and my outlook basically is like, okay, AI may take over a lot of jobs, but you still need somebody to make the AI, right? You need, I mean, there are a lot of people that are super hopeful about what AI can do, but in terms of like the general artificial intelligence, like based on what I've heard from people who are actually doing the work for AI, not just like fans of AI, we're not close to that. We're nowhere near close to that. So it's going to be a long time before we actually have like AI that doesn't need people involved at all. So my thought process would be, okay, well, I'm not going to try to get one of those jobs that's likely to be taken over. I want to be one of the people that's guiding it. So, and if I was 18, I'd be in shape to say, like, all right, I'm going to try to get into like one of the top tech schools, like here in the United States, maybe like Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, or maybe like MIT or something. That's what I would shoot for. I'd try to get in there and try to do a lot of work. Now that I'm married, I have kids and stuff and responsibilities. I can't do that, right? So I'm doing what I'm doing. I really like what I'm doing, but yeah. So if any of you are younger and are thinking about it, that's the route I would take, and you can make a huge impact on the world with that kind of stuff. Isuru says, "What's the best books to learn design patterns?" Oh man. I can't, nothing's coming to mind right now. Like, I vaguely remember there being something about design patterns, some book, but I can't remember it right now. I'm sorry. Sam says, React Fiber, what are your thoughts? I think it's awesome. I mean, from what I've seen, I don't know all like the technical stuff about it, but it's going to make things faster, right? And that's always good. Harshit says, still need to train models in TensorFlow for the AI to work. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't think people who don't like know about the process of how you get AI working don't realize how much human input is actually needed to guide this stuff, right? And how narrow the field is, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of cool things AI can do, but it's not at like the sci-fi movie level at all yet. And it's, in my mind, like, I'm not even sure we can get to that level realistically. And if we can, it's going to take a really long time. Like, I'm not trying to be a pessimist or downer about it, but just like, based on what I know about the technology, it's not simple to get a general artificial intelligence. Even from a hardware side of things, like that much computing power, it's going to be insane. And then from a software like programming point, it's also an immense amount of work that's going to have to happen, and an immense amount of data that would be needed. Oh yeah, that's right. Harshit, good. So React Fiber is already out. It's in React 16. So React Fiber is there. Okay, Harsha said, are you asking about Suspense? Yeah, Suspense is not out yet, and it seems amazing. Check out Dan, is it Dan Abramoff? I think it's Dan Abramoff's talk on React, like Suspense. When did he give it? It was this past year. I can't remember what conference he gave it at. But check it out, it's amazing. Alright, so that's the end of the chat, and yeah, we've been going almost 2 hours now, so I think it's a good place to kind of wrap things up. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you found this useful. Thanks for all the interaction in the chat. This was awesome, and I'm gonna try to stream a little bit more. Oh, good news! I think I'm gonna be getting a new computer, a new PC for free, which I should be able to use to make it I can stream from home. I don't know if y'all saw the last time I tried to stream from home, but it was terrible. Like, the quality was terrible. So I think what I'm gonna be able to do is route the actual streaming through this PC to free up all the computing power on my MacBook for just programming, and I think that should solve the issue. So once I get that computer in and I get it all configured, I think I should be able to stream better streams from home, and I'll be more consistent with it. Because right now it's like, it's just very easy for me to say, I don't feel like doing it today, the quality is probably not going to be good anyway, and I don't, right? So I want to get back to streaming like more regularly. So anyway, that's coming. I just don't know when I'm going to get the laptop, but hopefully sometime soon. All right. Yeah, so thank you all again. And yeah, so hopefully I can stream tomorrow, but we'll see. I'll be home tomorrow. So until next time, have a great day.